Hi guys and welcome to learntocreategames.com. Today we'll have a look at Raycast again, but this time from the NPC's perspective, trying to detect the player and activating the NPC accordingly. So let's get started. So first, we'll do as usual, we'll create a very simple environment using a ground based on the cube and also add a third-person controller as well as an NPC. So again, we're going to go to Game Object, then 3D Object, and cube to create a brand new cube. We'll scale it on the X and Z axis as usual, so again by 100 on the X and 100 on the Z. Once this is done, we can zoom in slightly, so using Shift and F, and try to make sure that it's exactly the way we want it. When this is done, we can create the third-person controller. So again, we can look at the standard assets, characters, and then go to third-person controllers and prefabs. So again, in prefabs, we'll be using the two prefabs. So first, the third-person controller for the AI that will be following the player, and then we will use also the third-person controller that will be controlled by the player. So this stage, our NPC is all set up. So again, we just add the third-person controller for the player here. You can see it has been added in the hierarchy. And then we can just test our scene to make sure that everything is working properly. So again, if I press play, I should be able to move around with my third-person controller. Now the only issue again is that I forgot to add a camera that will follow the player. So again, I just need to go to my standard assets that I have imported previously, go to cameras, and in cameras go to prefab and look at multi-purpose camera rig. This camera again will follow a specific target. So again, I just need to make sure that the target is my third-person controller by dragging and dropping this object from the hierarchy. I will need to deactivate my main camera as well to make sure that the image captured by the camera that I've just added is displayed on screen. So again, if I play the scene, I should be able to move around and the camera will follow me. So again, you can see that the NPC is idle, it's not moving yet. So this stage, we have the two characters for level. What we need to do now is to start to create a raycasting system. And this raycasting system should go from the NPC. So what I will do is just create a brand new script and rename it. So again, it's going to be raycast from NPC. And what this script will do will be to detect if there is anything in front of the NPC. And if it is the case, then we will display a message. So again, I'm going to modify my update function accordingly, but before that, I will declare a variable called array. So the type will be array, and it will be used to cast array forward from the NPC. So again, a small typo here, just remove C and equal. Then in the update function, I will need to define for this array an origin and a direction. So again, the origin of my array will be just 0.5 meters ahead of the character. So again, array.origin will be equal transform.position. So again, we'll take the position of the object linked to the script, and that will be the third-person controller, the AI third-person controller. So in our case, it will be the transform.position, and then we're just going to add 0.5 meters forward. So this array will start a little bit ahead of the character. And what we also do is we'll make sure that this array starts from about the middle of the character. So again, we're going to use transform.up and multiply by about 0.7, which will correspond roughly to the middle of the character. When this array has been created, we will cast it from the origin specified and in the direction specified. In fact, I haven't specified the direction yet. I will do that in a few seconds. And there is something else as well I need to do. In fact, I'm typing debug.raycast, but in fact, we might need to modify it slightly. So again, it's going to be the array. So we're going to have to just modify it slightly. So again, the array.direction is specified. So here, the direction is forward. So again, we just, in the case where we're going to align with the line of sight of the character, so again, it's going to be transform.forward. Now if I save this script, I should have an error because the actual keyword is not debug.raycast, but it's actually debug.drawArray. So if you look at the console window right now, after I actually drag and drop this script onto the third-person controller, the AI, you should see in the console window an error. Okay, so again, it should come in a few seconds. And this error will tell me that it just doesn't know exactly what I'm talking about when I specify debug.raycast. So again, if I play the scene, I should get an error here. Here you go. So again, debug.raycast, it just doesn't know exactly what I'm talking about. And the reason for that is that it's not the right keyword, okay? The keyword is the raw array. So what I need to do here is just to go back to my script and make sure that I use the correct keyword, which is the raw array. Again, what you can do in this case is just go to the scripting reference. You can go to help and scripting reference, and it will give you the exact syntax for any of the function or the built-in function that you can use with Unity. So again, you can see there in the console window, it just doesn't read like debug.raycast, possibly because it doesn't exist. So again, I just need to, instead of debug.raycast, start using debug.drawArray. So as this is done, I'm going to clear the project window right now, and we will see that my script should work properly. And in this case, whenever I go in front of the NPC, it should display a message. So again, if I move my character around and walk just in front of my NPC, so if I basically cross the path of this ray, you should see a message appearing. So the first thing I will do is go to the scene view and actually move this character manually. So again, if I play the scene again, after a few seconds, we should be able to see this message. In fact, I haven't written it yet. So again, I'm going to write this message and saying that this should display a message, which is basically the character as is in front of the player. So again, I should be able to look at that later. But in fact, what I forgot to mention, and I will do it now, is that the debug array actually will not allow you to detect any collision, so anything in front of you. What you really need is to cast array. So debug.array will be visible only when you are actually in the debug, not in the debug mode, but in the scene view. If you really want to cast array to detect something in front of you, you have to cast it using physics.raycast. Physics.raycast will create array that will detect any colliders ahead. So again, I repeat, debug.drawArray will not detect anything. It will just be visible in the scene view. However, if you want to detect collision with another collider, you need to use physics.raycast. So here we just cast array forward, and whenever there is a collision, the information about the collision will be returned in the object called hit, and its type is raycast hit. So in my case, I use this object hit, and I get the collider of the object involved in the collision, and I get then the name of this object, and I will display it in the message. So again, hit.collider.gameObject.name. So again, we display the name of the object from which the collider was involved in the collision. So in our case here, if we play the game again, what we should see is as soon as my character, my player is in front of the actual NPC, we will then have a message saying that we are in front of the NPC. So again, I'm going to move it manually this time. So I'm going to move to the Y view, so the view from above. And if I move my character and I touch the array, you can see that the message in the console window said the object third-person controller is in front of the NPC. So this is working. It is working pretty well. In fact, what I could do is again do the exact same exercise, but this time moving around the scene with my player. So again, clearing the window. Now we're on the game view, and if I play my scene again and move my character around, what we should see is a character moving in front of the AI or the NPC, and the message should be displayed again. So again, if I'm in front of the character, boom, the message is displayed. So at this stage, the only thing we'd like to do really is to be able to activate this NPC, so that whenever I go in front of my character, the NPC starts to follow me, which is a character, like a behavior you would like in a game. So what we need to do really is to first, there are a few settings we need to set up. First, we need to bake the navigation information, which means that we need to make sure that the NPC knows exactly what kind of, I suppose, on what object it can walk in order to be able to reach its target. So one of the very first things that I will do is to be able to bake this information, which is the navigation information. So what I will do is simply select my cube, which is basically the ground, and once this is done, I just need to check navigation static and then click on bake. So again, what it does really, it makes sure that my NPC can actually follow my player. So when this is done, you can see that you have a target here for the actual AI, the AI character. And again, this target is empty, which means that at the moment, my NPC doesn't have any target. So what I need to do is to set this target using a script. So again, if I stop my scene, I can then try to modify my script. So again, if I go on my script, what I need to do is, in case the player is walking in front of the NPC, I need to go to the script that is managing the target for the NPC and specify that this target should be the first person controller, or the third person controller, which is the player basically. So again, go to get component, and then we just make sure that we get the corresponding component, which is the script. So again, I'm just checking the name of the script. So it's called AI character controller. This is the script that will actually control the target. So again, get component AI character controller, and control, sorry. And again, we're going to access the target. So again, dot target, and then we're going to do a game object dot find and first person controller and add dot transform. So effectively, the target will be the third person controller. Now just make sure that you put transform at the end, otherwise you may have an error. Okay. In this case, we're going to display the message player detected following player now. So if we go back to Unity, we're going to check the console window just to make sure that there are no errors at all. And when this is done, so I could even clear the window. When this is done, we can actually play the scene again. Now I'm going to do two things. I'm going to go behind the NPC, and you should see it actually doesn't see me at all. So I'm going to go behind the NPC, no reaction. This is because the Raycast is at the front. So again, if I move my NPC now, my character in front of the NPC, boom, it's following me. Well, that's it guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and again, if you want to learn more about Unity, please check the website learntocreategames.com. See you, bye!